marathons, plenty will be taking place this weekend, and in particular here in South Africa, the Two Oceans Marathon, but out in the USA, the Boston Marathon will be taking place, and we've got South African representation there. Wandisile Nongodlwana is joining us now live from Boston in the USA, and it's 1:30 in the morning there. Wandi, good morning. Thank you so much for your time and for waking up to talk to us. How are you doing? How are you feeling ahead of the big race?
Good morning, Benjamin, and good morning to all the viewers at home. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be up early, so early in the morning, and have a chat with you guys. I'm doing very well. I'm still a bit sleepy, but it's okay.
Yeah. Since we last spoke to you here on the channel, I think it was just after the New York Marathon, where you were the highest finishing South African there, if I'm not mistaken. What's been taking place in your career?
So since New York Marathon, as you mentioned, I was the first South African to cross the finish line in my age category. Also, I was the first one. But since then, I mean, I've done a couple of races locally in South Africa. I did Cape Peninsula Marathon in Cape Town with a time of 2:42 there, and that was my best South African time from my previous 2:45. So I was quite happy with that. I've done an African X, which is a 3-day trail run down in the Western Cape. We came first with my running partner Nicholas Rupanga in our age category as well, which is 40 and above. And yeah, I've been doing quite a lot of training in between in preparation for the Boston Marathon, which is where I'm at right now.
Now, speaking of New York Marathon, I know you've also done the Chicago Marathon at some point. In terms of marathon majors in the world,
yes,
where do you rate this Boston Marathon?
So Boston Marathon is actually in the middle, in the sense that in terms of the elevation, New York is rated as one of the hardest with regards to the elevation. Boston as well is a bit tougher. And in fact, I was looking at the cost profile, trying to get myself into it. And the first half is relatively easy. And in the second half, you get challenged by what we call the 4 Newton hills. So I've kind of been trying to plan to run with a stronger finish, taking into consideration those hills that will be coming up in the second half. So I'll see. I mean, I've never done Boston before. It's my first time doing it, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
And why did you choose that, Wandi? There's the Two Oceans Marathon taking place here at home on Sunday, and Boston is taking place on Monday. You chose Boston, and it's a bit of a strange decision in a lot of people's eyes. But was it a financial decision? Is it a financial decision when South African athletes choose to ditch home marathons for overseas ones?
Look, it's not. Look, the two races, I'm telling you, I mean, in terms of experience, they are both one of the magnificent races to run in. I've done Two Oceans. I've done 12 of the Two Oceans, and literally, I've done Two Oceans together with Comrades Marathon all at the same time. It's my first time ever, and my heart is sore not to run Two Oceans, but I had to make a decision, make a call, which one to do, you know. And Boston, it came back to Petrus Day, which is basically a holiday on this side on Monday, in comparison to last year when it was in October. So it came back to its original day of being hosted. And therefore, you know, if ever you were to do Boston or Two Oceans, you have to pick one, you know. And I had to come to Boston because I made a commitment to myself that, you know, in as much as Two Oceans, I would have loved to come enjoy it. Also, I mean, the entries for Oceans opens up later. And by that time, I had already qualified and made a commitment to come and do Boston. But really, I would have I have a FOMO for Two Oceans right now. I mean, all my friends, my running mates, the teammates, they will be lining up at Two Oceans on Sunday. And one of the greatest things about Two Oceans, not to divulge more away from Boston Marathon, one of the great things about Two Oceans this coming Sunday is the fact that there's an opportunity for all those who have been running on a Friday and couldn't run on a Saturday to be part of the whole 56 kilometers on Sunday. So I mean, even that, I think is going to be a great day for Two Oceans as well. However, I'm here right now in Boston. I am excited and I'm looking forward to it. I hope the weather is going to be great, though.
Yeah. There's a school of thought, Wandi, that South Africans generally are obsessed with ultra marathons. What do you think of that? What's your view of that? And does it limit South Africa's pool of talent when it comes to track seasons, whether here at home or the bigger events taking place, whether it's Commonwealth Games, whether it's Olympic Games, World Champs, whatever it may be?
So South Africa, I think by our culture, we always want to do Comrades Marathon. In fact, we normally say that at least one South Africans must do at least Comrade once. As a result, for one to qualify for running Comrades Marathon, they need to run a marathon, right? And therefore, Comrades requires a lot of training, time on the legs, and without being aware, we end up doing a lot of marathons because we're trying to put mileage on our legs, and therefore being exposed to a lot of marathons. However, in terms of developing talent and also excellence in our running, I think it is very important to focus a lot on the track because that is where you develop speed. I mean, if you look at the world marathon runners and you look at their record, right from the 5,000 meters, 10,000, that is where they excel first before going to marathons. So in terms of development, in terms of making sure that we've got a pool of runners that are doing very, very well in marathon and in ultra distances, we need to make sure that we get the bases right in terms of getting them more into the track, even the schools, getting the schools involved, So it does become a progression. But when you start doing or running later and being exposed to a lot of runners, you get being involved and caught up into doing a lot of marathons, and therefore you neglect that part of doing a lot of speed unless you become more exposed to high performing people. Then they will tell you, you know what, cut back. I mean, if, for example, we were to look at my marathon time in New York, 2:37:27 minutes, one of the major things that I've seen made a difference was that there were no races, okay? And therefore, there was nothing to chase every Saturday, every Sunday. There was no marathons. And therefore, most of my time was literally focused on training. And therefore, I was able to put in speed. I was able to put in hills. I was able to put in long runs as part of the program. Right now, I mean, this weekend, for example, there's Two Oceans Marathons in South Africa. There's Easter 100. All of those. And to recover from that, it's going to take a couple of weeks, And in a week's time, in 2 weeks' time, there's Wally Highward coming up in Pretoria, which is a marathon as well. And you'll see some people have done Two Oceans. Yeah.
Just to cut in there, what I want to know now, with you being a part of the Boston Marathon, the last 6 winners of the race are part of the field this year, as I understand. Where do you look for podium finishes? There's always Kenya threatening, there's always Ethiopia threatening, and particularly Ethiopia when it comes to the ladies. Where do you look for podium finishes this year?
Look, I mean, I've looked at the elite, failed. And I think Ethiopia, I'm looking more into the Ethiopian side. And reason being that is, traditionally, I mean, if I look at the history of Boston as well, I mean, they performed quite well. And they've got a pool of runners. A lot of runners from Kenya. You probably see them in Berlin and in London, which is where I'll be at as well towards the end of the year. I'll be doing Berlin Marathon as well, so I'm looking forward to that. But coming to Boston, definitely, I'm looking more into the Ethiopians to take the win. However, we had a surprise a couple years back. The winner from China. I mean, he surprised everyone. You know, we thought, no, he's going to burn out. The weather conditions were terrible. It was raining. So there's always a surprise, you know. But I think whoever is going to cross that finish line first, it will be a well-earned and a well-deserved win.
And South Africa, in fact, East Africa is always looked at as the mecca of road running in the world, not just in Africa. Do we have any hopes of getting there as South Africa and Southern Africa?
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, we do. We have a lot of marathon runners that are very, very good in South Africa that have competed in Commonwealth, in Olympics. You know, we've got the young and up and coming, like Precious Mashele, who's very, very good. You know, we've got our Stephen Mupoka. He has, you know, ran New York. He has won in the international space. So we do have a talent. There's Muslim Zimas who are up and coming in terms of being. I mean, he was out because of the injury, and now he's back, and he's been improving his time. We've got the Khardas. We've got a couple of runners who are really, really good in South Africa and who are capable, you know, to compete internationally and win for that matter. Not just compete and be representatives, but to win. So there is definitely a room for that, and I can't wait. I can't wait. However, we do need a lot of support because, I mean, runners normally when they compete at that level, running is their main source of income. And therefore, we do need the support to make sure that they perform well.
In just about 20 seconds, Wandi, what's your target, your personal target for this weekend?
So one of the things with targets is that you try and beat your last time, right? So if ever I do a good sub 240, I'll be the happiest person, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. And 235 would be my best. I'll be happy with that. If I do under 240, then I'll be more comfortable. You know, given God's strength, I'm just praying and hoping for that 240.
All right.
Sub 240, yes.
All right, live to us from Boston, Massachusetts in the USA. That's Wandisile Nongodlwana. Thank you so much for your time and good luck. Better you than me. Just about 42 kilometers in that Boston Marathon. I can't run that too. So good luck to you this coming Easter Monday.